What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone. A new week, new opportunities, you would think, but Tudor spoke, and I don't know, man. It's a lot of excuses, and he came actually up with, for me, a shocking statement, basically saying this is who we are right now. And then he went towards we are not a Juve of 100 points, etc. All things we obviously know, but I think it's more about it's too much of an excuse of excuses right now to just say we failed to beat Verona. At one point you need to stop. You need to accept that we weren't good. Besides the refereeing decisions, we were bad. Besides fatigue, we were bad. And things had to do with fatigue, but a lot of things has nothing to do with fatigue and has to do with adjustments and also learning from things that are not working. For example, a two-man field, it's not working for us to cope with it for 90 minutes. But he spoke and he said, for me, a shock statement, which as a coach of Juve, you cannot say, you cannot complain about playing basically Champions League football. This is Juve and he should be knowing that. But before we get into it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive straight into it. Okay, so he spoke yesterday evening. New quotes came out, or he was interviewed by Mediaset, and he had a few things to say. First off, complaining about the schedule. I don't want to hear that because when we were winning stuff year in year out, other teams were complaining about the schedule. We shut up and we played our games every 3 days. That's what we did. We did that, and we were quiet. We just won games and we kept it moving. Now we're not winning games. You cannot bring that up. We never done that. And I think that's a very lazy, boring excuse, in my opinion. I'm sorry. But he spoke and he said, well, this is who we are. With our strengths and weaknesses, we are not the Juve. We're not the Juventus who win everything and get 100 points. Obviously, we're not that Juve side. And I think everybody would agree that we're not, quality-wise, that Juve side. But nobody is saying that. I've not come across one person saying we are going to compete with the record-breaking 102 points Juve side, in Conte's, I think, final season it was. We're not that side. Nobody's saying we are that side. So that's like putting it out there and saying, oh, hold up, temper your expectations. Nobody had those expectations. I'm not even sure why you need to bring that up. I'm not sure why you need to bring that up. We know we're not going to win every game. I don't think the problem is not winning a game. I don't think anyone is angry that we didn't win the game on Saturday. I think everybody's angry more, one, about the refereeing, and two, it wasn't good enough. Ref or no ref, our game was not good enough, and everybody, I think, can see that it won't be good enough to do something significant, important this year, and it has nothing to do with 100 points, etc. So I think that's a weird statement that came out of nowhere, where it's more of, hey guys, we're not going to win everything, so calm down. And yeah, we calm down, but we can still talk about bad decisions and play that's not improving, and tactically we got outplayed by Verona. If you cannot brush that under the carpet just to say we're not the Juve side of 100 points. Then he went on, and this is what I completely, absolutely dislike. There's a point to it, but we've never done that in the past. I don't want to hear that. You play at Juve. He said we played our third match in 7 days, while Napoli played their third in 9 days. Earlier, I spoke with the league about this because these things need to be said. I'm not making excuses. You are. We didn't play a great game and there was fatigue, but these things matter. I spoke to the players right away and told them you can't win every game. We tried. Playing every 3 days is completely different. The rhythm changes, and for us, the rhythm going here and there is different. Okay. Now, playing every 3 days compared to once a week is a massive difference. That's why I think Allegri will do well, because that Milan squad is good enough for Serie A to do well playing one game a week. And yes, they lost against Cremonese, but they will be up there until the very end. If not, he failed as a coaching job, Allegri. I'm sorry, because looking at the league, etc. So yes, it does help playing only one time a week. However, this is Juve, and we play every 3 days. Like, since I can remember. The fact that we didn't do that is one season because we got punished, and when we came back from the Serie B. That's the only time I remember us not playing, even if it's Europa League, every 3 days. That's what we do at Juve. You cannot complain that. complain about that. Excuse me. You can never ever bring that up. I'm sorry. That cannot be an excuse. It's your, like, you coach Juve, you play every 3 days. That's it. You cannot go back and like, man, playing every 3 days is tough. Yeah, I mean, then you shouldn't be at a top club. I'm sorry, and it's weird that he came up with that statement because he played for this club. He knows that we play every 3 days. He knows that. He's been part of that. That's the club's DNA. I don't want to hear that. Even if we can all acknowledge it will be tough, it's an adjustment for this team, etc. Maybe. But again, we've done it last season. You're gonna do that this season, and the goal is to do it next season and the season after that. Like, I mean, I don't get why that should be brought up. We know it's probably exhausting playing every 3 days. We know that. But that cannot be an excuse the moment you don't win a game. Because yes, fatigue might be an issue, but let's be completely honest. Tactically, it wasn't good against Dortmund, it wasn't good against Inter, and it was bad against Verona. We were not fatigued against Dortmund and Inter. You cannot bring that up every single time. There needs to be adjustment that has nothing to do with fatigue. I want that to be the conversation rather than, oh, it's the ref and Turan couldn't run anymore. Then if Turan can run, you make the sub. What about talking a two-man midfield? We cannot really hold up. It's too easy for opponents to get through that. What about talking about that, for example? We don't do that. What about talking every time Vlahovic plays? He's poor because we don't play on transition at those times, when he starts the game. What about talking about that? What about talking about him coming out and saying, well, for Openda and Jonathan David, we need to change formation? I'm like, well, why are we not doing that? The talk should be, wasn't that your signings? Those club signings, for example? That should be the talk, because you have two players and you're just chucking in Zigrova and David and Openda and hoping something works, but you're telling us really it's not going to work because they will not work well in that formation. Those should be the conversations we have, the media have, he has with the media and the fans, rather than we play every 3 days, we do this and this. I don't want to become that club. I'm sorry. And you can say he has a point to it. Yes, but maybe in 2 weeks' time, we are on the other hand, I don't know. Like, I never thought about, we play, like, it needs to be something wild. For example, we played Tuesday and we played Saturday. So we played Tuesday, and we played Saturday. Man City played Thursday, I think, Champions League, and played Sunday. They had absolutely they had 2 days of rest, even worse, and they just played the game. I mean, I don't want to hear that because now Pep can come out and said, man, this is not good, we played. But if they won it and didn't throw that game away, you probably wouldn't have come out, So it's all subjective. If a coach talks about it, it becomes, that's a club's issue. That's the job of a club, to tell the league, hold up. This is not okay. Because in November, I think October, November, it's crazy. It's Como, it's Real Madrid, it's Milan, it's game after game. I think we play like 6 games in about 18 days or something. It's insane. However, that's playing for a top club. That's coaching a top club. That cannot be the excuse or the main talking point after we drop points. It just cannot happen. I'm sorry. I will never accept that. Even if there's a valid point to it, the focus should be, we got tactically outplayed by Verona. That is the bigger issue. Anyways, in the comments, let me know what you think. Later today, live with Julian, the podcast. We're going to do it live this time, so stay tuned for that one as well. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you later tonight. Ciao.